Well, good morning and a very warm welcome to Ask the Expert. Ask the Expert is an award-winning daily series from 8:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. to help small businesses just like you. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments of the live feed. And if you need any more advice, join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. Accountants and business experts just like myself are on hand 24/7. During the live sessions, we'll be running a poll, so please do engage, and I'll be revealing the results at the end. Okay, so who am I? Well, my name is Aaron Patrick, and it's an absolute pleasure to be with you again. I'm a chartered accountant and also a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, so please don't be afraid to ask me any QuickBooks-related questions. I also own a state-of-the-art accounting firm called Boffix, which uses the best in cloud technology available to help small business get crucial real-time information they need at their fingertips. If you require accounting advice, payroll, bookkeeping services, and even QuickBooks online training, then please do get in touch. We don't want small business to survive, but thrive. I also have a dedicated QuickBooks YouTube channel called Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks Chap. So if any more QuickBooks news and advice, then why not go over and give the channel a follow? Okay, enough about me and let's focus on today's session. As always, this session is all about you and your burning questions. If you have a question, then please use those social channels to get in touch. So while we wait for the first of the questions to arrive, give you a bit of a brief of what happened in the last couple of weeks in the world of QuickBooks, because at the moment it is the season of conferences. So we had the UK Get Connected a few weeks back. And if you remember from the last Ask the Expert I did, I was talking about what I was expecting from it and what I was looking forward to it. But also we were treated to the QuickBooks Connect 2021 in the US of A. And we saw some amazing innovations to the product that could and should come to the UK product at some point. So a bit of a disclosure before I go on, because I'm going to focus this all on that QuickBooks Connect 2021 and all the wonderful innovations that were announced. But not all of these innovations may end up coming to the UK product. There's a good feeling most times that we do this, we'll see that in a QuickBooks Connect, we'll have an announcement that's made in a couple of months' time or 6 months' time. It'll arrive in the UK. It's not guaranteed, but it is always a good idea to see what's happening over in the US of A, see what's going on in the QuickBooks product, and give some real excitement into what's coming. In fact, I was so excited about this actual announcement and what was made during the QuickBooks Connect that I actually made a whole dedicated video. So again, if you jump over to my channel, Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks Chat, you can see everything I'm talking about in a bit more detail, see some screenshots, see some bit of interactions with it, and we can go on from there. Okay, let's run through what was announced. So first announcement was, which we already know about, which was the MailChimp integration. So I don't know if you were aware of this, but Intuit has recently purchased MailChimp. And basically what they were doing was going through and explaining how that integration is going to work with QuickBooks Online. You see, if you know any of my content, you'll know that I have a podcast dedicated to QuickBooks Online. And when they first announced about MailChimp, me and my co-host, Ash, very confused as to what actually was going to happen with MailChimp and QuickBooks. It didn't feel at first like it was a match made in heaven, so to speak. But how wrong was I? Actually, the connection makes so much more sense when you look at it. In fact, it's going to give you the opportunity to be able to make sure that you can do some real clever ways in which you're marketing to your current client base, and also going to give you some real good opportunities to market to brand new customers as well. It's not just going to help you, but it'll help other businesses using QuickBooks Online. And the more and more that we look into the integration between MailChimp, the more excited that we get. Just as a little sneak preview that they gave us, they were showing us how that when you get your data from QuickBooks or your customer data, for example, you can also tell basically MailChimp what your customers have been buying, what their most highest value items like that, which means that you can do targeted campaigns directly to those customers. And because the sync is two-way and it's really secure and really connected deeply, then there's loads of options there in which you can make the most of it. So the MailChimp integration, which was the start of the whole conference itself, really did get us excited into what's to come. And I'm really looking forward to it. Our practice itself, we already used MailChimp, so we're already kind of in that whole ecosystem anyway. But now that we've seen how much more MailChimp can do and what else we can use it for, we're really starting to push the boundaries of MailChimp itself. And I think everyone should be joining that bandwagon as well. I'm really looking forward to what else is coming. The next thing that was announced was Invoice Advance. Now, again, disclaimer, this is a US product at this point in time. We may never ever see this in the UK, but fingers crossed we do, because this one seems really, really exciting. You see, what they did is they announced basically a quote-unquote a factoring option for use within QuickBooks Online. Now, instead of your traditional factoring where you'll find an invoice or you have to hand over all your invoices, should I say, and then you get paid a proportion of that back, the QuickBooks element of it is that it's going to give us an opportunity to find individual invoices and give you that opportunity to be able to claim that invoice over sooner. There's all percentages and fees involved and everything else, but the whole point of it, the process that will be, is that you will find an invoice in QuickBooks, click a few buttons, and they'll have the opportunity for you to get that money up front. Now, again, US only at this point in time, but how amazing is that for cash flow purposes? How amazing is that is to be able to have that invoice, that money up front, so that you can then make sure that you're utilizing it as much as you possibly can. I really do think this is going to be a real great innovation and something that I can't wait to hopefully arrive in the UK, but at least have a go up in the US of A. Now, the other things that were announced were kind of minor updates to things like the mobile app as well. But the mobile app in the USA seems to be coming into the same on par with what we've got here in the UK. So it was nice to see. And nice to see that we got some of those innovations before everyone else. And also it seems that, or it was shown, of a new way where the quoting system can be updated, a much more modern feel to it, modern approach to it, and the ability to receive a deposit up front, and that deposit can be paid instantaneously into your bank account. And that seemed like a really, really powerful solution as well. So the next thing that they was talking about was the ability to have the QuickBooks Bank. Now, we already know that in the UK, it was announced in the last spring update, there is a QuickBooks Bank coming your way. So if you think about those challenger banks like Starling, Revolut, think of those type of banks, but built directly in QuickBooks Online itself. Now, again, the QuickBooks Bank in the US versus the QuickBooks Bank in the UK, they're going to have very different approaches. They will be different products whatsoever. But what we saw in the USA product was what was actually going to be achieved. And the most exciting thing about that was the ability to have automatic tax savings for you. So the idea would be, and over there, it's not called VAT, it's called direct tax. But the idea would be that they're equivalent to VAT, that when you actually sold an item, then it would take that money when that money is received, and that money would then be put into a tax savings account automatically for you, meaning that you always are saving those VAT elements every time you make a sale. And that is really, really powerful. They also teased about the idea of being able to create rules to put extra savings in as well. And then we'll be able to kind of look in, hopefully, into the power of being able to save for taxes and other taxes as well as that. It's basically going to give you a really powerful banking system that's driven by AI, driven by rules, and giving you that option to be able to really have that ability to look at it. So again, massive update for you, and small businesses will really be able to benefit from that and be able to have the opportunity to be able to get those savings and everything put into place. So I, for one, cannot wait to have a go at using the bank account option within QuickBooks Online. Other advantages that they told us about was if you get paid via that and you have the QuickBooks Bank, you can have instant access to your funds, items like that. Just makes it so it's really, really, really exciting. Then we moved on to day 2, and this is where the focus went from the product that everyone uses to the accountant's product. So if you're listening on here and you're a fellow accountant, then hello to you. If you're listening on here and you are a small business, then this is still relevant to you because you're going to understand what your accountant is going to get the opportunity to do. But basically, we had a whole day or a whole section, should I say, dedicated to what's coming to the QuickBooks Online Accountant, which is another version of QuickBooks Online dedicated for accountants. One of the things, or one of the amazing updates that came through, was the return of the app. So we used to have an access to an app on QuickBooks Online on our computers, which still gave us to that online format, but was really, really tailored towards power users. And thankfully, in the US at least, there is the return of the app itself. And that gives me some real great hopes that we can go back to those really power user options, having multiple clients connected, having ability to be able to use shortcuts more extensively. I think it's going to be really, really useful. The biggest update, though, for me, in fact, was the fact that there was a month-end review or there was an update to the month-end review. You see, we've had this month-end review for about a year now in the UK, and it's been a bit of a game changer, to be honest, in the way that we're able to make sure that our clients' data is nice and tidy, being able to make sure that we can use steps to be able to go through and clean it up, and make sure basically that if we were going to submit a VAT return or an account, we would have confidence in that data. Well, they've improved in that experience. They basically renamed it from month-end review, which makes it sound like it's only for month end, and then it's now going to be called books review. They're also adding to the beginning and the end of month end review a setup and a wrap up. The setup is designed to make sure opening balances and bank accounts are connected and everything else, and wrap up is designed to make sure that those next steps are being completed. So sending out monthly accounts, sending out the accounts that need to be sent, or whatever it needs to be done, and gives you more of a checklist at the end as well. Overall, fantastic update, this one. Month-end review has been a real way in which we can make sure that the data that we're providing for our clients is clean, tidy, and always on top of. And that just gives us that ability to be able to take that information and be able to put it into a more secure and more confident manner as well. And adding these two extra bits just means we're going to get even more clean data. Then a big announcement, and probably the absolute game changer of them all, was the ability to do what's called transaction collaboration. Now, either if you're an accountant yourself, listen here, or you're a small business owner, I'm sure you've come to the point where either your accountant or someone has asked you a question about a particular transaction. And normally when we have to ask a question, it's because we don't know the answer to that transaction. Maybe it's a transaction in the bank that we've never come across before. Well, the problem we have is at the moment, for us to ask that question, we need to go through, we need to find the date, the amount, and all the other information that comes with it. Well, this new transaction collaboration completely changes the way that does. In fact, what you do is you find that transaction and you basically present that transaction to the person that you need to collaborate with, meaning that they can see the date, the amount, and everything else that goes with it. And then you can ask questions related to it. So if you have a transaction in your bank account that you've never seen before, you could then ask that question about that transaction and make it really easy for someone to make that answer. And for accountants, that changes everything. That gives us an opportunity to be able to find those transactions that are really important to us and be able to send those information or send this transaction to our client. We've got a sneak peek of a really nice, slick interface where the client can easily answer those questions, easily provide that maybe some supporting documents. And as accountants, we can then make sure that they've been done correctly and put into the right place. Absolute game changer. One of the features that I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, makes it to the UK sooner rather than later, because I think that this could be an absolute change of the game for accountants and small businesses alike. So that's a bit of a sneak peek of what we had announced over at the QuickBooks Get Connected, or QuickBooks Connect 2021 for the exact name of it. So if you want to see some more, then again, like I said, head over to that YouTube channel, Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks Champ. I've gone through this whole conference bit by bit, showing you screenshots, showing you what was announced. So that's definitely a video that'll be worthwhile watching. And I'm also going to be looking to deep dive into some of those product announcements as well. As soon as they go live in either the UK or the USA product, I'll be sure to cover them and go through in detail, how they work, what works, what doesn't work, all that sort of stuff. So please do go over to that channel and give it a follow. Also, the podcast that we do on a first Wednesday of every month is what we're going to be talking about. We cannot wait to talk in a little bit more detail about what was announced. Okay, now we're moving over to by far the most important part of the show, and that's right, it's your questions. So remember, if you have any burning questions, get them asked in the comment section of the video and get yourself involved. So our first question that came through was Kieran from Instagram DM and asked the following. My vendor delivered a really poor customer custom-made product. Sorry, start that again. My vendor delivered a really poor custom-made product and won't refund me the cost and get it redone. What can I do about it? About this, I don't want to write it off as it's fair amount, but my customer is expecting the item, so I need to recommission it. Really apologize for you having that experience. That sounds terrible. That's definitely the thing that at the moment we as small businesses are really needing to fight against, is anything that's making it even more difficult for us. But in this case, you just need to open those lines of communication with that vendor. There is kind of going to be opportunities for you to look at advice in terms of legal advice and be able to make sure that you can look at that data or be able to make sure that you're fully represented. But more importantly, it's all going to be about that communication with that vendor. And what you don't want to do is sour that relationship completely, make it so it's unattainable for you to be able to actually get any resolvement from it. But you do need to be forceful in terms of the fact that at the end of the day, you've paid for a product and they've not delivered on it. I'm sure that if you start those communications and really try and push through, a solution can be made. So yeah, please do reach out to that vendor, do talk to them, do make sure that you have that opportunity to ask those questions and get that resolved. And you know, if that doesn't come to a case, then I really would look at making some legal advice, seeing what can be done about it, see what contract was signed originally, and see what your original agreement was, and that's going to be your best solution for that. So hopefully you get that sorted, Kieran. It's the last thing that we want at this point in time. Elliot on Twitter DM asks the following: I own a 10% share of a small business that is in the process of merging into a large company. What does that mean for my share and dividends? Great question there, Elliot. So, Elliot, unfortunately, it's all about what the actual devil in the detail is going to be when it comes to that merger itself. You need to understand what the merger involves. Is it the fact that your shares themselves are going to be sold, or is it a fact that there's going to be an opportunity for you to actually, or is it going to be a fact that only a part of the other shares are going to be sold? It really does depend on what's going to happen. Now, what you said here is that it's a merging into a large company, so it does sound like to me that you're going to be sold those shares and maybe be given some shares in the new entity as well. But again, it all comes down to the devil in the detail. It all comes down to what the actual relationship or what the actual commercial agreement's been when it comes to buying or buying out that company and merging that company. If it is a case that you've been offered 10% share, or for your 10% share of a company, you've been offered a percentage of another company, or at least shares in the equivalent, then you will still continue to receive dividends and everything else that goes with it. But instead of you having maybe control over what those dividends are, it may be a case that those dividends are based on other factors and everything else that goes with it. So most of the time when it comes to kind of bigger acquisitions and bigger organizations taking over company, it's less about what your shares are or what your dividends, should I say, are going to be going forward, but it's about what those shares are going to be worth in a capital point of view. So normally the way that you'll actually earn or be able to get wealth from it is about the fact that those shares will hopefully increase in value, especially if they're doing things like acquisitions of other companies and becoming more successful and everything that goes with it. So normally that's what happens. And normally from you, it means that, again, depending on what commercial agreement you've got, if you're trading your shares for some of their shares, then you'll be looking to get that increase of capital, that increase of that share value is how you'll be looking to hopefully make some extra money out of that merger. Or it could be a case that you'll just get cash for that particular shares as well. So again, it's all going to be down to what actually happens in that data. But do reach out to it, Elliot. If you've got any more information, more than happy to talk to you in a little bit more detail about that. You know what my contact details is. hello@boffix.com. Kelly on Facebook Messenger asks the following: I've started my own construction business. Fantastic, Kelly. That's great news. And I'm thinking of signing up to QuickBooks. I completely agree. I think that's the best news, best decision you'll make. I was going to go with the simple plan, but I'm interested in the time tracker too. Yep, great idea, that one. I'm not sure if the extra cost is worth it, so can you talk me through the tracker works? And what do the general reports include? Well, Kelly, that is a great question. Now, one of the things that I do, part of my role, is that I do training for QuickBooks. And part of the training for QuickBooks is we do the construction industry and the construction CIS. And part of that is, or webinar, I should say, and part of that is that we talk about what the power of the QuickBooks can bring to construction, and the time tracking option and the time option is one of those great powers. In fact, if I go back to the QuickBooks USA account, one of the things, QuickBooks USA Connect, one of the things we didn't talk about was the fact that the payroll has had a bit of an update over in USA. Now, the USA payroll and the UK payroll are different products, so it's not that it's like for like, but they have shown some real tight integration with time and being able to bring time into it. Also, if you're using the project section in QuickBooks, and I think that's where you'll get the most benefit out of going from Simple Start, which is the smallest version which you're on now, all the way up to Plus, I think the project section will give you some real insights into it. You see, the way or the reason that time or recording of time is so important is because you want to make sure that when you're doing and costing jobs out to clients and making sure that you've got the opportunity to go and get good tenders for clients and making sure that you're not underselling yourself, then recording that time against previous work or against current projects is going to be really, really important. And I think that's where you'll get your most amount of benefit from. The fact that you'll be able to turn on projects, turn on budgeting, you'll have the ability then to be able to use the time function within QuickBooks to be able to track against it. Now, one of the benefits of using the time tracking function within QuickBooks is that you have the option to invite your other people who are working for you. So you don't just have to go at the end of a month or a week and fill in people's job quotas and be able to go through their job cards and fill it in. You can actually give them the opportunity to do that for you as you go along. You can build in controls, build in systems so that they're actually using their mobile phone, using their ability to be able to record that time for you. What that makes really easy for you is it means that you can then make it so that that data is automatically being updated, automatically going into your projects, giving you real-time information and making you make those real crucial decisions. Another thing to remember as well is that QuickBooks recently acquired a company called T-Sheets, and T-Sheets is basically QuickBooks Time, but even more powerful. So within QuickBooks itself, there is a timesheet option, which is really, really good and really powerful. But T-Sheets, or QuickBooks Time, as they call it now, has actually the ability to even more put power onto that actual ability. So you're using the mobile phone and using mobile options to be able to go in and using your GPS solution on your phone means that there's various ways where you can actually see where your team is at any point in time. You can move them and make sure that they are in the same right place, that they're doing the right job that you allocated them to. You'll have that power and that control over them as well. And it really gives you a chance as well to make it easier for them to be able to record that time. So again, they'll get to use the mobile option. You'll be able to use those options that go forward and really be able to get the most out of it. And I find it really, really, really powerful solution. And for some of our construction clients, it's an absolute game changer in the way that they're recording time. So for you, I think, the fact that you've moved on to QuickBooks is great. You'll find some real great savings for you in terms of connecting the bank, in terms of being able to do everything else that goes with it. But I think for a construction company, I think the Plus version is perfectly suited for them. Again, have that option to use projects, which I think you'll find even more powerful than time itself. Have the option to start recording against time and have timesheets and everything else that goes with it. Having the option to do budgeting, and also the chances for you to do what's called classes and locations means that you'll have a whole raft of opportunities there to be able to make sure that the data that you're putting into QuickBooks is working for you and your business. You're going to have the opportunity to not only look at your overall business and see how your business is doing in terms of their profit and loss, but you'll be able to go into individual projects, making sure those projects are profitable for you, and you'll be able to create budgets against future projects to make sure that you are tendering for the right sort of level. And I think, especially as your business is growing, Kelly, I think that's going to be the best solution for you. So have a go with that one. I personally think it won't be a regret for you. So do have a look at giving it a go. The best thing as well, you can jump up to QuickBooks Online Advance. You can jump up to QuickBooks Online Plus at any time, and you can downgrade at any time as well. So if you are using these features and you do go up to the Plus and you do feel like actually, you're not utilizing them as much as you should do, then it's no problem to move back down afterwards as well. So have a go, promise you it'll be worthwhile. And I do have videos on what the difference between Plus and Advanced and everything else is. So have a look at them if needed. Priya on Twitter DM asked the following. Do you have any advice on how to forecast? The pandemic has really highlighted to me how it's hard to predict and plan for the unexpected. Priya, you are talking my language. Forecasting has become the most essential part of a small business and any business going forward. The best thing is that QuickBooks is making it really easy for us by providing us with a forecasting tool. And the forecasting tool in QuickBooks is designed to predict using the machine learning, using information from a bank account, and designed to look forward for you and give you a really good indication. But don't just take the information from there and just, be done with it. Utilize the options within the forecasting area to be able to add scenarios, add options, add recurring transactions you expect to happen. Look at your worst case scenario. That's what we've been concentrating on during the pandemic, about making sure that businesses at least can survive the worst case scenario, at least can be able to have those increased costs as we move from furlough to non-furlough. What does that mean to my profit going forward? What does that mean, more importantly, to my cash flow going forward? And that's where you can use that cash flow forecasting tool built within QuickBooks Online. And it was released during the pandemic, which shows you how much QuickBooks is understanding what the issues are, understanding the problems, and gives you those tools to be able to hopefully combat them as well. So Priya, please do have a look at using the forecast. Just use the tools that are given to you within QuickBooks Online. Make sure that you are keeping on top of that on a regular basis. Set yourself a nice monthly reminder. That's what we do here at Boffix. We have nice monthly reminders for us so that every time we can look at those forecasts, make sure they're up to date, make sure that they're telling us the information we are. If you've got the time, then please do look at it on a more regular basis. But at a very minimum, make sure from month to month that you are covered, that you're keeping on top of that real-time information, and that you've got the opportunity to look at that. The other thing to remember about forecasting as well is there is ability to go even further as well. So if you go to www.apps.com and you want a more, a full version of the forecasting opportunity, there are various apps out there. And for what we found for clients is that the cash flow forecasting tools within QuickBooks is perfect for 90% of our clients, but we do have a couple of clients where we need that little bit extra more, and that's where we started using www.apps.com, using the App Store. Go in there, put in cash flow forecast in there, and you'll see lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of options there for you to use. And some of those are really, really, really powerful. Again, it's going to be looking directly at that data that you've got in QuickBooks Online. It's going to be looking at that information that's there, and it's going to give you the opportunity to predict what's going forward and really clever ways of doing it. And what I always say to people is that you're having to do your QuickBooks Online is something you're being forced to do for statutory reasons. So either it's to complete a VAT return or to complete a tax return, or whatever the reasons is that you're using QuickBooks Online, you're forced to put that data in there. So I always urge people to make the most out of that data. Don't just put that data in to get your statutory requirements completed, but use that data for what it's there for. Look at how your business has been evolving over the past couple of years, especially with the pandemic. Look at what is predicted to happen going forward. Give you that fighting chance to be able to make some changes now, make some changes that can be really beneficial to your business. I promise you, once you start looking at that forecast and once you start looking at data, it becomes a little bit addictive, but that's a good thing. And that means that you're going to be on top of your data, on top of your information, and hopefully means that you're going to be able to make the right choices for your business because you've got that information at your fingertips and you'll be able to utilize it going forward. So fingers crossed on that. Good luck with that, Priya. And if you need any more questions and anything else, then either jump on my channel or drop us a question over at hello@boffix.com. And I'm afraid to say that is the end of today's session. So the poll results are in, and we did ask you the following question. Have you used any of the new features in QuickBooks in the last year? 70% of you, I'm glad to say, have said yes, while 30% of you said no. So that, to me, is a really, really positive. The fact that 70% of you have used it means that a lot of people have been utilizing that data, which is good to see. All the new features we could see. And as you can see from today, there are some really, really good new features, hopefully on the horizon, hopefully soon. So it's one of those things where the beauty of a cloud technology is the fact that it updates automatically for you. You will get those updates. Every single one of those updates will be available to you, and you'll be able to make the most of them. And the fact that 70% of you have already made the most of those new features is good to hear. And we've got some really good features on the way coming up. So thank you for all tuning in this morning. If you want to get in touch with me, then you can send me a message at hello@boffix.com or head over to my YouTube channel, Aaron Patrick, the QuickBooks Chap, where you can drop a like, subscribe, all that jazz, and keep up to date with QuickBooks Online. As you can see, it's exciting times, so get yourself involved. Coming up on the next Ask the Expert on Monday, so we don't have one tomorrow, but we're back on Monday, is Mandy Ubi, so to say, and accountant and director of Morgan Reach. So tune in to find out how you can manage your cash flow and get advice on accounting. So Priya, if you come back on Monday, then we have an actual cash flow expert ready and waiting to talk to you about what you can do going forward. So I'd highly recommend tuning in on Monday. A reminder that if you need any more advice, join the official Intuit QuickBooks SMB community group on Facebook. Accounting experts and business experts are on hand 24/7. Just like myself, I'm always happy to answer your questions on there. So do get yourself over to that official Intuit SMB community group on Facebook. I've really enjoyed answering your questions this morning. Have a fantastic day, and I'm sure I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.